I hope all is well and thanks for joining me today. Today I want to talk about the importance of presence in virtual reality. I came back from a trip from Jamaica and started wondering, what if I could have created a virtual reality encounter that would allow me to have the presence that I needed to feel as if I'm still there. Therefore, I want to talk about the importance of presence as it relates to virtual reality. What is presence? Presence is connected to the perception of how the virtual reality user sees the virtual space. Presence is the feeling that you're actually in the virtual world, not just the physical space around you. It is a sense that the hardware being used is a part of you, the user, and it establishes touch and physical connection to others in the virtual space. Let me use this example to highlight the issue of presence. For example, if you are in a virtual world and someone throws an object at you, you tend to move away because you do not want to be hit. That is the power of presence. You are practically so connected to the equipment and you are fearful that that object will hit you. As it relates to presence, some critics believe we are not there yet, but we are moving towards that dimension of having total presence. From my perspective, I think we're moving towards having total presence, but it's not there yet. So I tend to agree with those individuals. The key question when we look at presence, we have to ask ourselves a question. Has virtual reality moved to the point where the movement of someone's body is totally coordinated with our vision and balance within the virtual world? However, as a critic, I'm going to say again that we are not there yet. In addition, I think the next step is really about feelings. This will add a whole new dimension to presence. If we can connect our hands to what our brain is seeing in the virtual world, this will be another major advancement as it relates to virtual reality. These feelings will be conveyed using various devices. The invention of gloves that are being used in the virtual reality experience gives us the sense of touch. So I'm saying at this point, there's more to come. For example, virtual reality users may in the future put on a whole suit that gives them the embodied touch as it relates to their encounter. When you think of presence, you're thinking of total immersion. Immersion, the capacity of a VR hardware to create a seamless approach between you and, of course, the environment. That's a virtual reality environment. I want to say that different users experience different levels of presence in an environment. Users will have different perspective, different frames of mind, and so forth. Hence, they might have a different mental state. Therefore, the issue of getting presence right in a virtual reality environment will be most challenging. So I am awaiting to see how the developers will go around this one. I am actually concerned about virtual reality and the need to create even greater presence. Because within the context of presence is the issue of intense emotional responses that could lead to psychological issues. While presence in VR remains a concept that is difficult to objectively be measured, we must begin to consider the ethical issues associated with enhanced presence. I am saying at this point in time, when you talk about presence and you talk about where presence is going to be in the future as it relates to virtual reality, have we given serious consideration to the issue of ethics, guidelines, psychological harm? Do we have a common framework that we are implementing to ensure that we are not creating artifacts that will cause harm to individuals who are going to be using? I am sort of worried about it. If we can look at our present situation regarding the implementation of technology, it's not always regulated. Hence, we have the problems we have currently, where people are deceived and so forth as they engage online. There's absolutely, in many cases, no control. We are aware that if we do not address virtual reality presence as it relates to setting guidelines, ethical provisions, and also laws to govern this sort of technology, we are going to have to face the reality in another 20 years. Will it be out of control? And I do not want that to happen, so I'm asking anyone viewing this recording to consider that aspect. For example, if developers are to push the creation of virtual reality content to the point where users can actually have a sense of touch and enter a space, a learning space, a virtual reality space, and someone gets hurt, what's the psychological harm from that? If you are experiencing a situation and a simulation, let me say, and someone was murdered in that simulation or that virtual reality encounter, what's the psychological harm? So as we think about presence, we have to think carefully about what to do, what not to do, and how to safeguard individuals from experiencing these sort of trauma. In other words, we need guidelines. It cannot be allowed just to flow in that manner without regulations and so forth. So another point, if we do not have guidelines and someone enters a virtual space and has their whole sense of touch within that space and someone touches them, harasses them in any form, is that a crime? Is that harassment? And I want us to be clear. I deem that as some level of harassment, or whatever happens in that space and you can physically feel it, it can lead to further trauma. The future of virtual reality is bright. However, I am calling on developers, I'm calling on programmers to think carefully, ethically regarding the creation of these spaces. It cannot just be left to go on its own and to foster that dimension where it's a free-for-all, where everyone will do what they want to do. I have some serious ethical considerations for this sort of technology. And furthermore, it is my dream that virtual reality will become a mainstay in education, in nursing, in the military, and all areas. Notwithstanding, we must have our controls in. We cannot allow individuals just to create learning objectives or learning spaces without giving consideration to presence. For example, once I entered a virtual reality space and someone showed me something that I should not have seen. Having said this, we should be able to control a system, and of course technology should be able to be used in a meaningful way. Having said this, it is important that we consider presence, because presence is going to be here to stay. It's going to improve over a period of time. In summary, if we fail to address the ethical issues, guidelines, and the necessary part as it relates to ensuring the health and safety of individuals, we're going to have a lot of problems. So at this point in time, I'm going to say I'm an advocate for presence, but within the context of safe guidelines, ethical consideration, and possible legislation to ensure that the vulnerable are protected in our society and those who are not able to participate are not thrown into situations that will traumatize them or hurt them or cause psychological harm. That's my thought. Please remember to like, subscribe to my channel as I bring you critical issues on education, culture, history,